Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, certified emotion code, body code practitioner, and genius biofeedback practitioner. And I am honored to have Laura Hall with me today to help talk to us about the amazing product, the Lifewave patches, and how we are integrating it and using it with the Genius app. So, Laura, why don't you take it away?
Okay, well, I don't make sure, does everyone see me? Because what I'm seeing is just you, which is totally fine, but I want to make sure that it
Well,
clear
you're
as, do you
excited.
see
I'm
me
seeing
as,
you. I don't know. Do I, Claire, do you see? What do you see?
I've got you full screen now. When Laura was talking, she was full screen, and
okay,
I've got
well then
the
that's good. Then that's fine. Okay, thanks. Thanks everybody. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to make sure that it was working because it wasn't showing up that way on my screen. Yeah, so thanks for having me, Denise. I you had asked a particular question, which I thought was really, really, really fascinating because we were working ahead of time a little earlier and having a really fabulous discussion and using the Lifewave X39 patch. A lot of you may raise your hand or go ahead and say in the chat what you may know about the patches, what you don't know about them. If you've used them, I know some people, I've had actually personal conversations that some of you have used them and had different experiences. So I would be very curious. But I'll start with the X39 patch. And pretty much, I don't want to make this all about the X39 or the Lifewave patches. I don't want to make it about these patches, but or anyone in particular. I'm just going to start with X39 because that's the granddaddy of all the patches that have been created. This took 10 years in the making. It's a patch that's called X39, and it's set for it is for stem cell activation. So you'll hear it called X39, or you'll hear it called the stem cell activation patch. Thanks, Janet. I'm updating you just a little bit. So yeah, so this actually activates when it heats up. It's a photobiomodulation patch. And what that means is that it's a non-transdermal patch that doesn't penetrate the skin with anything like you might have seen a stop smoking patch or a Somaderm. Those are transdermal, that they actually have medicine on them and they penetrate the skin. This is a lattice structure that has no medicine, but when it heats up based on your far infrared light in your body, it'll activate a certain peptide. And all of the patches activate different peptides in a different manner or method. X39 activates what's called the GHKCU peptide. And that is, if you do any Google, just Google Lauren Picard. He's a big researcher in all of the GHCKU, AHCKU, but that's a copper peptide. And what the copper peptide does in our body is kind of the holy grail of anti-aging, but literally stem cell activation. And so when the copper peptide gets activated, our stem cells get activated because of the copper peptide being activated within our body, which is really, really crazy, awesome science. David Schmidt is the founder of Lifewave. And if you've never tried any of the patches, definitely you want to. But energetically, what's really awesome is that I know a couple of people who are genius practitioners have created some libraries around the Lifewave patches. And also Denise had created how long ago was it, Denise?
I created it a while ago, actually, before I even had the patches. I knew of them, but I didn't have them myself. I had created it for someone else that had requested it. So,
And I know before Denise received the patches, she's like, well, I don't know that I need the patches because I have a library. And so energetically, I'm getting the experience of utilizing the patches. And I said, well, that's a curious observation because we're both physical and energetic form beings, right? So we're wave form and we're also physical form. So having the ability to utilize both and kind of gear and get more information from the patches is a genius, basically. So with that said, it's a genius opportunity. I'm happy to talk more about the patches, but I'd really like everyone to kind of see what we did right before we jumped on, just so we can kind of talk through.
Too, if I might add.
I'm sorry.
It kind of blew me away. I think it did blew you away a little bit too. So
It
um,
did.
I'm
It
going to
did.
start sharing my screen and okay, so uh, for everybody that's on, I know normally I've already just started this session with Laura, so I'm not going to go backwards and go through the voice and um, the picture scan or whatnot. So I'm just going to show you quickly what came up, and this is the Lifewave patch library that I had made. So when we're looking at it, and I had no idea what Laura was wearing or what patches she was using. And so glutathione came out, AccuLife came up, and this carnosine, is that how you say it? Came.
Carnosine. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So what was really interesting was when Laura and I were talking about a minute later, she's like, well, I have the glutathione patch on. And I'm like, really? Because glutathione showed up right here up at the top. And then she said, and I have the carnosine patch on. And I'm like, really? Because that showed up down here. So now the only one that showed up that she's not wearing is this AccuLife, which
Which I forgot to mention. I have a dog in the room right next to me.
no.
Yes. And so that was the thing that occurred to me. It's like, hello, it has to be Wrigley, he's literally right under my feet.
So you don't need any of the more of those. So anyway, this is just absolutely brilliant and I love it because you know, I get blown away all the time on just how amazing this technology is day in and day out. And you know, you would think you would stop being surprised by it after a while, but I'm always surprised and just it's like seeing miracles every day because it's just like you can't make this stuff up,
No,
right?
you can't. And
You
I,
just
I I will say, just so people who don't understand, AccuLife is the actual animal patch that LifeWave has. So it's like the Ice Wave patch, but it's actually really geared toward animals and tested. Every single patch, we have over 90 clinical studies, um, peer double blind studies, and over 140 patents alone just around this technology. But the AccuLife, what's really funny about that one, it's in the red, Denise, he is on actual medicine. Wrigley is on medicine to stop his itching and the pain he's receiving from this itch. He's got some kind of like a crazy itch and he's scratching at it and has a rash and it's crazy. But hello, he's in some pain.
right. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable. So now the other thing that was really quite amazing. Well, so first when we're looking at this, now I know not everybody can muscle test or not everybody can dowse, but I do muscle test. And Laura asked the question, well, so why is it showing as red? And so I asked, like, she may not need the patch every day. Like it may
Yeah,
be causing over energy for
right.
basically and doesn't need it. And I said, that's really interesting. Now, Laura, where you wear these patches often, you put them on specific meridian points. So I said,
Yes, yes.
go check your meridians. So we went back to the meridians and I said, where are you wearing the glutathione patch? And she's like, let's show everybody. And
So yeah, right here is the
oh,
glutathione.
I'm like, I think that's the lung meridian. That's red. And sure enough, well, the lung meridian is kind of on the inside, but I mean, it's still close enough. You have it here, so right? So it's kind
Mhm.
of right there. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's even showing up in her meridian as that meridian being over energy, which is really amazing. We didn't look at the specific point.
Liver, we also, because I also have on the liver, I also have a second patch. So a lot of times I've been playing around with wearing glutathione in 3 different key areas. But again,
The
the
liver one you're wearing right near liver point 3, right? Even
mhm,
though that one's kind of, I would say that that's in the okay area since it's between 400
mhm.
and 600 in there. But again, um, overall the liver meridian is 325. Again, that's not horrible number, but if you're trying to keep everything between 400 and 600, um, oh
Oh,
wait,
good point.
Margaret is saying she has it at the end of the lung meridian and the beginning point, LU1 is showing in the blue. Oh, oh, you're
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. So that
That is curious too,
so wearing it
because
too much is Margaret, you're the specialist here on the meridian. So what would you say about that, given that it's kind of making that point under energy? So I guess it's throwing that point of it could be throwing that point of your meridian off by wearing it too much. Would that be right? Deborah's saying, would it be better to place it on lung 1? It may be pulling the energy from the starting point, drawing energy to the end of the meridian. Okay. I'm not, so that's not a good thing, right, Margaret? I'm not an acupuncturist, so um, the end point would be, yeah, probably not. So I wouldn't wear, so how many days a week should you be wearing the glutathione patch? I'm getting 3 days a week. So you may want to wear it every other day and not like,
yeah, yeah. And what this really was the aha moment for me when we first got started with this was I need to muscle test before I put on every patch because I feel like I'm I just I die for all the patches. Like I'm just crazed about them, right? But muscle testing prior to actually applying would make better sense.
yeah, I would definitely. I mean, for anything like that, I mean, if you take supplements, if you know how to muscle test or sway test or dowse, I would always test like how often you need it. Should you take it in the morning? Should you take it at night? When is your body, best going to absorb it, right? You
So
can,
let's look at carnosine because carnosine came up in the blue as if I didn't have enough. And I've been wearing carnosine.
that was a
Um,
liver, right? Yeah. That was, you have that on like point 3, right? Is it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the cornice.
this is carnosine right here.
So that, is that also which meridian is that? Is that the heart meridian?
Heart meridian.
Thanks, guys. You're so good.
Yeah,
So,
heart 7.
so it's like 200. So it's kind of, that's bordering on the low. So could you want, I'm getting that one you can wear every day.
Yeah. Yes, I actually feel so too. And carnosine, they have a lot of studies that are coming out or have been released with the whole brain, and Alzheimer's, dementia, which
Mhm.
that is something that happens in my family.
So, and again, you can look at these, right? It would be interesting to see. I mean, we can go do this now. Let's just, when we put where'd it go? Lifewave. We can put these, let's just put them all.
We'll put in AccuLife for, okay, yeah, that's great. I want Wrigley to be able to experience from it.
No, I was putting them in because I'm curious to see, we're checking, is the glutathione, is it too much wearing it every day? Well, is it too much because you're wearing the other patches? Like, when you muscle test, you need to kind of be specific on the questions.
Mhm.
So we didn't say, is it okay to wear it every day when you're wearing that patch? Yeah, also check hydration. That's a great point that Cheryl made as well too. But
Especially
so
as it relates to, yeah.
are you wearing any other patches besides those?
Um,
Are you wearing the X39?
I have the X39 here and also on my back, and I have X49 2 fingers below my belly button.
Okay. So you have 5 patches on, correct?
Mhm. So interesting, Margaret. Yeah, it is the conception vessel. And what I have
Blood notch. I know.
I have hypothyroid, and a friend of mine who is on our team posted that in the last 4 months she'd been religiously putting her X39 right directly on her thyroid gland,
Mhm.
and she's completely off of her medicine now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I wanted to experiment with it, right? I mean, obviously you want to always use the test points that where the studies came from, but because this person identified the fact that, and she could feel the energetic experience of everything changing. And so went to the doctor and kept checking all her, levels.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so it's just interesting that the X39, the 49, and the AccuLife are showing as high, and you don't have any lows. So that's just it's just curious to me. But why don't we go back and we can check hydration here for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Um, water quality. Let's put them all in. I'm just going to put the reds and the blues for the affirmations here for the hydration.
Oh, I like your hydration panels.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of all your electrolytes, and then these would be specific muscles. Let's just add all of these in here since it's talking about optimization. And then what else would you like to look at in here? So Jackie's saying, I just want to look at the question. So Jackie's saying, with the thyroid story, isn't that supplementing and not restoring? Is there an end point to use if a patch? I'm going to give that to you, Laura. Like, is
With the thyroid story. So, um, not sure I'm understanding completely, Jackie. With the thyroid story, isn't that supplementing and not restoring? No, because the stem cells are restoring directly to where the body is calling for it. So to answer that part one, is there an endpoint to use if of a patch? I think you meant up. So that's a curious question. And the way that I typically answer that is, if your stem cells will activate where your body signals that it needs it the most. I mean, that's how the patch is designed. So it works differently on everybody. If you discontinue the use, of the patches altogether, well, yeah, I mean, you'll stop at that point. It's kind of like energetically, if you stop using the Genius on yourself energetically, why would you not do that is the answer. To restore thyroid, also look at amino acids. Tyrosine makes up the thyroid hormone. Good point.
Here's tyrosine. You have a thyroid issue, or you don't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hypothyroid.
So we can
But
put that.
ever since I started using the Genius, I'd been working on my thyroid, and every single time I've been going into the doctor, my thyroid has come back into normal or getting better. So there is a reduction of the medicine that I'm actually needing.
It is showing up here. Um,
I also started taking iodine, so I'd be curious what shows up in iodine.
that would be under minerals. Yeah. Minerals is showing
Good.
good number. But what I wanted to see, go back to is, let's just take your thyroid and go into Entangled Insights, just for a second. So I'm going to just say load everything in here. Okay, we do have some parasites showing up. So we know what library that's going to bring us back to. We have we have some parasites, we have some fungus. I'm going to hit the top red and the bottom blue. Let's just see what bottom blues give us. Oh, sorry. Interesting. So who's good with Bach flower essences with the meanings of them off the top? What's elm and heather? Because that's supposed to help with your thyroid. This is about your thyroid up here, so it would just be interesting to see how that ties in, because they're showing up on the bottom. I mean, all the Bach flower essences are too, but Pam wants to know how you record the chats. If you hit the three little buttons on the bottom of the chat, it allows you to save the chat, Pam. Elm is overwhelmed. Thanks, Karen, and thanks, Deborah. Do you feel overwhelmed, Laura?
Yes. I I was I'm doing a class on voice bio, and I don't know, about 60 CDs that I need to download. And yesterday I downloaded them all, and then I realized they're not in the right format. So today I'm redoing all the work. So feel extremely overwhelmed with that.
And what about, and Heather is, and thank you, Karen,
Self-concern.
oh, I don't know. I'm just going to go up here to bioterrain for you.
Katie, was that Heather? Potential to be heard? Heather's spleen meridian. Because that also relates, potential to be heard relates to thyroid as well.
Yep. Okay, so you had some bacteria in there. Let's put some of the remedies in here for you. And we can also, based on our conversation last week with Karen, and maybe I'll have Karen chime in here in just a minute, but let's look at your pH balance. And so, do you check your pH at all? Because it's showing that acidic is at 680, and then So your 8.0 is, so we're going to put that in an 8.5 for you. So you may want to look at that a little bit to help with some of these
So
areas.
I'm curious, when you look at that, you can answer a question since you put that together. When you go back to the pH, all the pH guides, how are you identifying the like alkaline 8.0
What do you mean? How am
acidic?
like how am I using the library?
Acidic would be balancing the alkaline.
But you mean how am I looking at the library? You want to be alkaline.
Not always,
Karen, you can chime in here because you're more of an expert on this than I am.
because you can be over alkaline.
Right, but based on the work of Dr. Robert Young, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, you would want a pH alkaline of 8.0. Is that right, Karen? Where are you?
Right
She's
here.
right
Can you
there.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, so having been a nurse in intensive care and neonatal intensive care, that's the first thing we ever care about is we take the blood and we take the blood gases to make sure you're between 7.35 and 7.45. Anything down 0.02, you're in a state of degeneration or acidity or death. So you've got different pHs, the stomach, and we get all that. That's a no-brainer. It's what's the interstitium and what the fluids are. So we have to be, and he's right. Can you be alkaline? Of course you did, but you don't take 8 tablespoons of baking soda a day. Okay. You take the pH litmus paper at home and you make sure you're titrating close to 8 to he wants 8.5. And that's when we're seeing the regeneration. So the litmus paper, and never stick it on your tongue either. I want the
Right.
midstream because it's a reactant, it's chemicals. You know, I don't know why people are sticking it on their tongue. If you want to spit into a cup, but we really just care about the first morning pH midstream urine. And we want to see it between, he said now 8 and 8.5. So that it's like doing a car with 30, like an oil change all the time. And in that state, we can get to regeneration. So there's nothing wrong with having that. I know that contradicts a little bit some of the MDs. Yes. And there's pH litmus paper, there's rolls, there's double strips. You can even get, I've got pH they use for water. You can get for urine meters. They're about 15, 20. But in here, I know that differs a little bit to Dr. Debbie Young and a lot of the MDs in their training, but we're going by what we're seeing on the live blood cell. And again, they don't even teach doctors about interstitium or the interstitial fluids. And so that's the largest, basically, organ, really. It really is. So I think there's a lot said to that. And having spent time with him and the microscope and Dr. Robert Morse, that's why they're going for the fruits. Any disease, because of the high electrolytes, that's what's healing people. The minute they said, Dr. Morse said, we put under the microscope, they went back to eating kale and like greens and all that kind of thing. Then their blood sugars and stuff started spiking. So there's a lot to be said for that. But if you can get that home pH, it makes all the difference. Or look at his pH. And you want, actually, those are the wrong strips. Normally, yeah.
Oh.
What? Oh, okay. pH goes from 0 to 14. Okay. And what we want to measure urine more specifically, it's much more in smaller increments, is 5.5, or you'll see 6, but 5.5 to 9. So it's a much smaller gradient. So I can actually tell the difference between 6.5, 6.8, 6.7. Okay. So those are the kind of litmus papers that you want. I'll just get you some to show.
Why are these wrong, Karen?
Hmm?
Why are these strips wrong?
Because you can't, it's not that they're wrong, but you know, that's used more of a chemistry experiment than anything else. So we look specifically for urine and saliva ones. And it's a smaller gradient, and the color difference I can see is much more intense. I'll get a litmus.
When I tested, I
I
thought
have
this was excellent, actually. It like was really accurate to the 1 to 4, like the color.
I got it. I got it. But when you're seeing with the gradients in, it's like having 10 shades of green. Here, I just found mine. I have it in my bathroom. None of my friends get out. This is your intelligence test. And I've done it for years, my colon hydrotherapy or all my clinics. It seriously was. I don't want, there's the difference. Hopefully the camera will resonate. but you can
Mhm.
see the difference. Come on, baby.
Yep.
Okay, but you can see the difference. I can tell 5.5, 5.6, 6.
Yep.
Okay, you want a tighter gradient.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not that that's wrong, but you really don't get the accuracy that you do with these kind of strips. And you can actually get a double strip that you get in tubes that we used in the hospital. That's even tighter. So,
Okay.
but these are anywhere from $8 or lab things. It's just, this is a better, clearer picture than it's blue or it's green to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Love this because I love how you said last week that it was like the chakras.
It is the chakras.
So, and it
I
was
was
just
teaching,
Karen,
clear to see it this
Yeah.
way,
Karen, what was
that it was the
what was
chakras.
damn straight. You know what? The top pH people up here, I was teaching at swadehills.com, and I got the gradient out. And she goes, there's this incredible woman on Nicholas Vienneman and Charlie Ward talking about pH. And she goes, I know her, but she didn't know that. But you know, that's a great way to actually assimilate that, is where is the nutrition going up there? Yeah, there's exactly it when you go this way. And if you ever look at the food chart,
The
okay,
same.
those are the foods we concentrate up in here when I have people that are sick. So you can get alkaline food, and it's called residual ash pH. So there's a whole different thing about what pH is and what it is when it hits our chemistry. And that's called ash pH. But if you look at it, it's not that far, is it?
Right.
No.
Okay.
That help?
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track,
But anyway, there you go.
Laura, but I just wanted to.
it's always fascinating. Don't say sorry, because everything that everyone shares is just
No, it's so good to
absolutely
pull everything
fascinating.
in because it's such a learning experience for everybody. And Karen, maybe you can post in the chat the brand of the litmus, the pH that you're using.
I use about 10 of them. I just seriously go look up urine. There's a pH Power Biomix. And if you go to swadehills.com, I'll put them in the chat. You can talk to Cindy, because I'm telling you, a lot of people cannot take baking soda. Their kidneys will not filter it with the radiation now and the COVID stuff. So I'm going food based, and I've only got one or two, Robert Young or her. So I'll put those in the chat. Okay.
Okay, I'm laughing, guys, because somehow I ended up with 600 items in a tray, Laura. We're gonna go with it and just pick like the price
That's hysterical.
on all of them. And I'm getting that we need to run the lows on you. So that's so funny. Um, I don't want to overdo it. So let's just work with ones. Feel it where the patch is.
You remind me, Karen, because I used to buy from Cindy. I think that was where I got my first litmus paper, because I bought the oh, she had the olive to add into the green olive to add in. And I have to go back and order more from her, because in between houses and I can't find everything. That, and then there were the pH tablets that she sold.
Just so you know, it's not online because Health Canada would have shut them down. Okay. So I
Yeah.
put it in the chat room. You have to phone her only. It's called It's Easy PH, or if you were a previous client, great. But if not, mention me, because you don't get it otherwise, because they're attacking us. So those are the things there. I'll put that in the chat for you. That helps. Brilliant. And so is Dr. Robert Young's drops. I just dealt with that this morning. Okay.
Oh, Dr. Robert Young's drops.
Yeah, I'll get that in the chat for you.
So you had a 34% rectification here. So I'm going to run it for 30 more seconds and see if we can bring that up a little bit.
And Denise, while you're running that, there is not in the chat to do a save. There's not three.
It is on the bottom where like you would type a message there. It shows like a smiley face and then 3 dots and it says save chat.
Oh, right there. Okay. Thank you.
So now you have 61%. So,
Nice.
do we want to rescan? Okay, so I'm going to rescan. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see what the highs are. I'm getting to run the highs now, so I'm going to run just the highs for 1 minute for you. I need to check where those,
Wait, that just said, what emoji do you want to use? Wait a second.
the what?
I'm just trying to. That's a reaction.
Bob's or Red Mills, right? Okay, Deborah, in the bottom part of the chat where you type your message, the very bottom line, right, like where right to the left of the send button, there are 3 dots. Touch that and it gives you the option to save the chat. Laura, we never did your perform picture.
No, I know. I thought about that once we got started.
So this is 21%. Okay, so let's run this for another 30 seconds for you and see if that helps. Where have you had one?
Yeah, Pam, I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm really trying to do exactly what she said, and I want to make sure that I can duplicate it.
All right, well, I have it saved, so if anybody needs it, I can email me and I can send you the saved chat. Does that work? Anybody who needs the Okay, so let's just see first. I want to see where be my eyes for me too, guys. I'm looking for the light wave to see if they even are showing up in the highs here. Oh gosh, there are a lot of highs. I don't know how many frequencies you just got.
Body
Oh,
only takes in what I need.
that's right. X39. Pam, please email me later because I won't remember everybody who needs me to email it to them. X39 is showing up. Here's your pH. Okay, so do we want to run? Let's just try it for 30 more seconds and see what happens. And then we'll go look at your aura and then put some probiotics in your belly. And there's no sound. Wait. Sorry, guys. I don't know why the sound's not. Well, it ran for a few seconds and now it brought it up. So we didn't hear the sound, but that seemed to work. Okay, so let's go look at your aura. I'm sorry, we're not going to have a before and after, but
That appetite lack of, that is so spot on.
you're drinking your water. Okay, so it's a little bit pale, which may mean you're a little, well, it could be mean stagnation. It could mean that your adrenals like are a little, that could be the stress. You want to clear that a little bit. There's some good, you're filling up in the bottom down here. There is some interference coming in these areas, but I'm not going to get in too much into the aura now for you. But let us go. I want to show you guys something, which I should have known this, but I don't use the quick zap a lot, but I thought that this was really interesting, actually. Did you guys ever notice that the quick zap brings in the high, medium, and lows up here? I never realized that before. I just thought I'd
No,
point.
that's got to be something that's new.
I don't remember ever seeing that before, that you could pull in the highs and the lows, which I thought was really cool because
Is
if
that the highs and lows from?
you load, like I could add all of these into the quick zap, so I could just keep them like a place saver, and now I can, well, I can clear this out, and
Thanks,
now I
Margaret.
can go
Yes.
back and let's get,
Well, I love that. I love that because when you run the special panels,
right.
yeah.
So it was a cute little find. So that was my little special tip for today. That was the little Easter egg for the day.
I think that would make the dynamic mirroring really fascinating.
And let's add your reds and the blues here. And let's add Karen's little. Okay, so let's run these now. Oh, so Margaret, you just noticed it too. I was so excited when I saw it the other day. I couldn't believe it. So let's run all of these now for 1 minute. And you
So
guys,
Katie has a question about what the quick zap does.
oh, so Katie, the quick zap, you can hear me okay when this is running? I'll wait till after this is finished. You're getting some angel guidance. See some of the ones up top, Laura?
I'm sorry.
Calling all angel sprays and angel guidance.
That fits.
So you had 40% rectification. Okay, so Katie, your question on the quick zap. So the difference between the quick zap and the main whole tray is that the quick zap will run the frequencies of each item that is placed in the quick zap tray. And the main whole tray, which brings you to this page, the Progressive Insights, looks at the relationship between all the items. So in other words, you might add some line items that were green or yellow, but when you add them into the main hold tray and then into the Progressive Insights, when the genius uses the algorithms, even though that they were yellow or green or seemingly to be somewhat balanced, they may become unbalanced now when all those other frequencies are looked at together, like in the room. Similar to if you have a conversation with maybe two people are talking and a third person comes in and now the conversation isn't so great, it throws the whole dynamic off. It's the same type thing. So the Progressive Insights would be a more powerful balance, in my opinion, because all these energies are around you all at one time, and isolating it, it's still good to get those frequencies, but it's not exactly the same thing. So I hope that helped. What was your question, Laura?
Oh no, what I was saying is So in addition, with the upper tray, with the when you actually add in dynamic mirroring, that's what I love about having a look. Obviously, that was just for example, but I usually put in the primary things that like the most essential in the quick zap when I'm doing dynamic mirroring, and then have that balance going back and forth between them.
Right. We'll do dynamic mirroring maybe next week, everybody, because I know that there's going to be some of you that are saying, like, what the heck is dynamic mirroring? It's basically a way to run a frequency using items in the quick zap and in the main hold tray, and it alternates, and you get there through going into your back office. But we'll work on that next week. So let's just go and see what your aura looks like now. And to see if you need anything else. So I would work on this still a little bit more. So let's go back. Oh, I didn't want to go there. Sorry. Let's go back and run. I'm going to rescan this. Sorry, guys. I don't know why the. Oh, right. We didn't check radiation, Karen. You wanted us to check radiation. Deborah, we worked on pH last week. We can always do that again with Karen. I know that she's already volunteered if everybody wants to do that. So maybe Karen will need to get that on the schedule. But Deborah, look in either Mighty Networks for the video from last week, or YouTube Inside Health Labs for class from last week where Karen was the guest and we went all over. We talked about Candida aureus and pH. We did a bunch on that. Okay, so this is low, Laura. So what do we want to do here? We need to add something. So I think we need some essential oils for you.
I would check the vitamins too.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it's these though. I think maybe herbs. Okay, so let's just run the highs and the lows again for 1 minute and see if we can get rid of some of that black in there. It's probably the parasites that are kicking around. It's really important, guys, when you work and you're clearing parasites, use spiritual protection. I can't say it enough. Those critters definitely use the spiritual protection when you're using when you're clearing parasites. Margaret, did on essential oils, I didn't see, did frankincense come up as one of the ones that we put in? Oregano, then thyme. Okay, so we're at 37%, so I'm a little bit happier with that. Let's go and see if we're making any progress here with your aura. I mean, the good news is that I like the green that's close to your body and even the white that comes after the green. It's just the stuff outside that what's close to the green. So we got rid of some of that red. Those pretty bright, vibrant colors. Karen, what do you think about that? Looks better, right? Much better. How are you feeling, Laura?
Great, actually.
Are you good?
Actually, I'm feeling, I feel like I almost felt like I was going to say I was feeling overwhelmed, you know, when I said that I was feeling overwhelmed, but like I should be feeling overwhelmed right now, and I'm not.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
like
And
I was thinking,
we
yeah,
didn't even like really pull in emotional libraries to work with that specifically. So that's awesome. That's great. Um, and your self, what was the Heather? Help me out, guys. Self.
Self-concerned.
Yes. How do you feel self-concerned?
I don't really know. No, I don't
No.
think so. Mm-mm.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Laura, do you want to say anything to, as it's 3 o'clock, so we're really at the top of the hour here.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
So
Well, I hope
grateful.
everybody liked it. If you want to know more about the Lifewave patches, you can certainly email me, Denise at Inside Health Apps, or email Laura, and we can certainly tell you more about it. And questions about pH, Karen is always here to help answer those questions. She is my point person for that. But and we will get together another time to go into the pH a little bit more, as it is such an important thing. And also it's your foods, right? So you might want to bring in, and I think I actually have some panels, so we can look at that and bring in what foods you should be eating in addition to helping bring, improve your pH and getting it more alkaline. So we can see how we can use the Genius to help with that too. So I just want to thank everybody for being here, and thank you, Laura, for being our guest, and Claire and Connie, who are in the background. But thank you, everybody. And of course, Karen, thank you for all your help again today. And any questions, you know where to find me.
Wait,
Thanks.
oh, don't forget to hit save again, so you get the latest part of the chat.
Chat. I got it. And anybody who wants the chat, email me and I will send you the file for it. Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Katie. Katie, did I answer? You got all your questions answered, right? Okay, awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to stop sharing. And here we are. So, okay, everyone, have a great week. I look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday. And if anyone has anything that they want us to talk about, you can email me on some topics that you would like addressed here on Thursday Live, and I can help with that or find special guests that can help us with those topics. So again, it was a pleasure seeing everybody. Have a great week. Until next Thursday, signing out. Bye, everyone.